What's up, guys, and thanks for tuning in to CRÜZR Radio, episode number 38. I'm your host, Andrew Taylor, joined in today by some of the CRÜZR crew, Mr. Justin Ryan and Evan Winnie. This week we discuss why it's important to be organized and prepared when going into a new hunting season. From packing camera gear to saddle safety, it all has a special and important place in our preparation. Let's get into it. Justin, Evan, how about it, boys?
It's a going.
Friday the 13th.
That it is.
I didn't think about that.
I've thought about that all day every time something's went wrong. I mean, you just seen the mess we had.
Yep.
Missing the camera, cords everywhere. Definitely par for Friday the 13th. Anyways.
Part of the fun.
Yeah.
What have you been up to, Evan? We ain't seen you in a while.
Get my bow fixed up. Trying to find a few deer.
Yeah.
Finding a few ducks. So.
What wood duck opens tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
What's that looking like for you?
Looking like a normal East Tennessee duck hunt. I mean.
Low and slow.
Low and slow.
100%.
What about you? You duck hunting this week?
No. Got too many ball games. Kids.
I hear that.
Go shoot my 2 wood ducks and go home, call it a day.
Is that what it is, too?
2 per person, yeah.
Per day or just in
per
general?
day, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it on teal 6?
Teal 6, yeah. Total of 6 birds, so you go kill 4 teal and 2 wood ducks. But if you find teal around here, don't tell nobody because they're few and far between.
Yeah.
Is that the ones that like fly really, really fast?
Small and fast.
Small and fast. Typically, you get blue wings first and then green wings later in the year.
Whistle? Teal whistle?
Yeah, they whistle and then they got like it almost sounds like a raspier, higher pitch mallard, something like that. But
I don't know that I could tell the difference.
It's tricky.
Between any duck.
Yeah, I mean.
I just know, like, hey, shoot it. Listen, I've only been duck hunting one time, and we tagged out in 30 minutes.
Oh, so
I'm ruined.
Sounds spoiled.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like one of your first duck hunts, though, is from an earlier podcast.
Yeah.
But
you duck hunt over deer hunt?
It all depends on the time of year.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, speaking of deer, we're right upon it. It's close.
Yeah, we are.
Time for it, yeah.
And with the new season comes new strategies, new struggles, and organizations, and getting ready for it. What's Justin? What's your number one trick going into a new season per se? What's one thing you really like to do before a new season?
Mock scrapes.
You like it?
Mock scrapes. I run them all year. It's probably my favorite thing.
What about you?
Yeah, I'm going to try and not rely on my cell cams as much this year.
That's a problem.
Which is I don't know if it's not necessarily a popular thing, but I know I catch myself a lot of times going, oh, I'm not going to go hunt that spot because nothing's happening there. But my camera's only catching a fraction of what's actually going on. So the best hunts I had last year was when I ignored my cameras and just went hunting and just scouted a little bit the day before, go find food, go find sign, and just go hunt.
Well, I mean, at that point, you're turning it into a fun hunt, I guess you can look at it, because you're surprised by whatever walks by.
Right.
So you never know, whereas if you run cameras all the time, I mean, there's pros and cons to it, don't get me wrong, but I feel like it's a good reset to not run any cameras, even if you did it for a month. Just if a 4-point walks by, you're like, oh man, is that a big buck? You can't tell because you don't know.
Right.
Do y'all ever get like just shooken up by just random deer? Like it could.
Oh yeah.
Like last year, end of the season, I've seen a ton of deer by now, and I had a 60-pound fawn walk by me, and for whatever reason, it just shook me. I mean, I'm just sitting there shaking like a leaf. I'm like,
hey, every doe that walks by me, you'd think is a 160-inch buck. I ain't kidding.
Oh yeah, I get that way.
And I don't know how it would be if a 160-inch buck walked out in front of me, to be honest with you.
I've had the same thought where I'm like, man, if I had a big buck walk out, could I actually, make a shot?
Well, I mean, me and Chad talked about this in the last episode. Me personally don't know if I could field judge a 170-inch deer because I've never seen one sitting from a hunting position.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Definitely, yeah.
I mean, 140 looks big to me.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and that is big for around here.
Yeah, mountain deer, if you kill a deer over 120, 130 inches, if you're doing it consistently, you're doing something.
Yeah. And I do think that Tennessee is slowly getting better quality of deer for sure.
100%. Yeah. Yeah, you can go back to one of my videos from last year, and it was probably a 140, if I'm guessing now. I had to put 3 stabilities on the edit if you want to know how that felt.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's still so shaky. It's just like, yeah. And the wife, of course, went that day, and it was her turn to shoot.
Oh, man.
So, of course, I'm like, what? I'm like, don't mess up, So I'm more freaking out so she don't just injure this deer. And then I'm freaking out looking at this deer in the camera. It's just, you can see me shaking in the first person. It's just wild.
I mean, I'd probably have to steal it from my wife. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh, I contemplate. I'm like, man, tomorrow and the next day, I know she wasn't coming back. Guess where I was at?
Please, Lord, don't let this deer get within 60 yards.
Keep going that way.
I mean, one thing I think is very important in a new deer season is becoming familiar with your supplies,
100%.
what you got. Of course, we all run CRÜZR saddles. Shooting out of a saddle, I mean, that's something so simple that a lot of people don't realize. It makes a big difference.
It takes some practice, and it takes some screwing up too, in my opinion. Somehow, and I've said this at a lot of trade shows for anybody who's talked to me, but every deer I shot last year came off of my last stick, not my platform. So when I climb a tree, I always put my last stick to the left of my platform, because in saddle hunting you have a strong side and a weak side shot. So my weak side shot is on my right side, and I don't ever bring my bow up and over my bridge, because that's just you're asking for trouble there.
Mm-hmm.
And so the ability to have that stick to my left where I can swing around and have the tether just wrap around my tree, that allows me to shoot that 360 degrees that we talk about all the time.
Yeah,
so
that's the practice there. Practice. Bow, saddle, ground, shoot your bow.
Yep. I tell everybody at the trade shows to get up in the saddle and find the most uncomfortable position you can find and sit there. Because just about every single time a deer walks up on me, I'm in the most awkward, twisted up position there was. And my legs are shaking because I'm all binded up. And I tell everybody that. And I feel like, that's the situations that you should be shooting your target out of at home.
Yeah, I missed one last year with the camera arm in between my leg. I wasn't even done setting up. And here comes this giant buck. And I'm like trying to reel the bow up on this side. I've got this between my legs, and I'm trying to do some kind of weird. Of course, I missed him. I couldn't range him. I didn't know. Missed him over the top. But
it happens like that every time, though. It's never, I won't say never, but 9 out of 10 times, I'm getting down, I'm getting up.
You're moving.
I haven't got something set,
Right.
or I'm stretching my back and I'm mid-stretch backwards, Wait a minute, there's a deer.
that's how I killed a turkey this year. I was sitting there. It was a slow morning, and I reach up, stretch, take my hat off. I pulled my face mask down. I look up, and there's just a red head over the rise just staring at me. And I was like, I've done screwed up.
Uh-oh.
But he was staring at decoys, not me. So I got lucky on that. It's funny how birds will key in on things you think they never would.
Yep.
But then 400 yards away, they'll see your fingernail shine just
I
right,
know.
run away.
Turkeys are, during deer season, you could spit on them, and it's like,
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
doe or a
here
young
we
buck.
are.
Yeah.
last year I was hunting in a box blind during the rain, and there was 4 or 5 strutters in November.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Of course.
why do this to
And
me?
they seen you more than likely.
They see me.
Okay. Yeah, it's not season.
I had blaze
he
orange
can't-
on. It was gun season. They
They
see
can't
me.
do nothing to me right now.
For them to be so smart, they're so stupid too.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
And I don't know. I feel like, deer hunting to me is, I like turkey hunting, but I love deer hunting.
Yeah, I love them both. So we're talking about things being spooked. What about the cell cameras? You believe they spooked the big deer? What do you think? I've got a lot of pictures just this week of them looking, and these are big bucks, and they walk off every time. I'm like, I don't know if it's the click. I don't know if it's the light, because they do make no glow. I don't know.
I don't know. I thought about that a little bit, but I feel like it's more camera placement.
Okay.
A lot of people just run in and put their cameras at deer eye level, essentially.
Yeah.
I feel like if you ever have a deer come up to smell your camera, you've put it in the wrong spot.
Yeah, probably too low. Yeah.
I've never thought about that.
Well, I mean,
honestly.
anytime, especially if you're like hardwoods, trail, to and from bed, I feel like anytime you can look at your camera from a deer's point of view and think, oh man, I know they're walking up this hill, but my camera's 6 feet up in this tree, but that's eye level to them. I feel like that's probably going to catch their eye. If not, they've got to be able to smell something from the camera. I mean, it's warm, obviously, from the batteries and stuff, so it's got to put off some kind of odor.
The one I got's about 12 foot in the tree, and you see him go. He's looking, he's eating, and then it comes on for the video because it does a picture then a video. And you see him go and look right at it. I'm like,
Yeah.
you know. And I've got multiple videos like that, so I don't know.
I think definitely older bucks, no.
Yeah.
I think.
See, and he was talking about not hunting the cameras last year. Where I killed my first big deer, there was nothing on camera all year.
Yeah.
And I watched him walk right out, and he kind of looked toward the trail it was on, went the other way.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he knows something. Maybe he smelt it. Maybe he's seen it, heard something. He's taking a different route.
What if we went the month of, and I ain't saying set in stone, but I'd just like to see it from a science perspective. What if we went the month of October without looking or setting out a single camera? Would we kill more deer? Would we hunt more? I know we would hunt more.
October's a rough time for me. For whatever reason, the properties I hunt and whatnot, deer just get super keyed in on single, small spots, and they bed so close to it that I don't see a ton of deer movement in October because just oak trees dropping acorns and whatnot. And like, I don't know if I necessarily believe in the October lull. I just think their habits change, and I don't keep up with them as well as I should or could. You know,
I think it might be this year no acorns around then, the way our weather's been.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot on the ground right now.
Oh man,
they're already
falling.
eating them.
Yeah.
So we may not even have any then.
Right.
Yeah. I think, I mean, generally in the past speaking, my number one deer movement time is usually that last week of October.
Really?
Yeah, same. I've killed
That's
more
when
deer,
I want to stay.
had more bucks on camera the week of Halloween. I tell everybody, hunt the week of Halloween. Don't worry about rut. Hunt this week right here.
And I get so aggravated because, contrary to popular belief, I hate the rut.
Oh, yeah. Well, Orange Army kind of ruins it for me because they just run there and you get these people that's lucky.
Yeah.
That's what bothers me. You know, they just, whatever, which I know there is some good hunters that go in, but still, it's just.
Well, I mean, and I feel like, especially in your case, you hunt a lot of public, but you're no longer hunting the deer.
Yeah.
You are hunting the place that the deer's going to go after everybody pushes them out.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
And, I mean, in my case, I hunt a lot more private. I just feel like they get so unpredictable that you can't judge or even guess where they're going to be tomorrow. I mean, you might have a 200-inch show up at dusk today, and tomorrow
some of the biggest deer I've ever gotten on camera are on opening days.
Yeah,
where they get pushed off from something. Like a couple years ago, had 2 studs show up opening day of bow season that I guarantee somebody woke up late, bumped them out of there, and they just happened to walk by my camera that day passing through. Never got another picture of them, but they were studs. And
that's depressing to me because I'm like, man, he just walked
then you know they're out there.
But here's the thing.
Cell camera thing again.
Here's the thing about deer is they will do the same thing. It might be a week from now. It might be a month from now. It might be 3 years from now. But it is scientifically proven that deer do similar activities.
Yep.
And I got a good friend in Smithville who strictly only hunts public. I mean, strictly, and kills giants. He killed a 160-inch deer during velvet on public. But he does the same thing every year on the same day and kills deer on that day. I ain't kidding. He told me last year, he said, Andrew, I'll be done about 7:30 in the morning. I said, what do you mean? He said, that deer come through last year at 7:30. He said, and he lived. I got pictures of him later. He said, but he will be dead by 7:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
7:25, he texted me, just shot him.
That's nuts.
I mean, he probably really overthinks it, but I mean, it works.
My dad, he's the same way. He'll say, last year or 5 years ago on this day, I killed a deer. I got to go hunting.
Yeah.
And he'll go to a similar area.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times good.
I mean, Josh, he sits in the same tree. I don't even know if he takes a stand down.
Yeah.
And every year, that same time, he produces
He
something.
just knows, yeah.
And that's crazy to me. But, I mean, deer.
Yeah.
Who knows? We got, you got a bunch of stands, presets, or what are y'all
Maybe
going on the fly?
Maybe 5.
5 presets.
Just somewhere.
So every year, do you have them out, or you just go hang them?
I just leave them.
Okay.
Like last year, I got busted in a spot, so I twisted one around to look the other way.
Okay.
Because I had a deer come behind me, and it was multiple times.
Yeah.
I ended up moving it. I just twisted it around.
So when you go move your presets from last year, you changing your straps, looking everything over and stuff?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. I usually just I'm not a small person, so I put ratchet straps on everything.
Yeah.
So if it calls for 3, I've got 6. So
Yeah.
a little excessive, but also lifelines.
Oh yeah.
Always there,
I mean, from a safety aspect of it, I feel like that's something that's very overlooked.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a buddy stand hanging in the same place for 6 years, and you're like,
It'll be fine. Yeah. No.
Even if that ratchet strap seems fine.
Oh yeah.
it ain't worth it. I mean, what, $7 or $8?
Yeah.
10 at max.
20 for a
$10.
pack. Yeah.
Yeah, $10 for a ratchet strap.
Save your life.
I usually pop mine. Pop them open.
Mm-hmm.
Redo. If they're cranking smooth, they tighten up next year.
Yeah. Well, it's always good to check for wasp nests too.
Oh yeah.
Always good.
We got a box blind, and I ain't even been in it, but I know it's eat up with it.
Mm-hmm.
I know it is.
He would have died if he seen my buddy stand last year.
I don't want to talk about it. If you're going where I think you are.
I go up there, and this big old black snake is sitting right in the seat, and he does not like snake. I'm like, oh, and I was like, look, see if it's a black snake. So I'm like trying to take some stuff out of my bag. I'm like, what can I push him over with? As soon as I went up there, he dives out. Like something you'd see on Facebook. He just, I'm like, oh, well, that works.
Y'all didn't hear this story, but I told it on the last podcast. Velvet season, Saturday, me and Chad was hunting, and right at dusk, I kept seeing these limbs move, and I was like, man, what is that? And it was about a 7-foot-long black snake in this tree right behind me, and the only limb that come off of it ran right to my back where I was leaned out against my saddle. I told Chad, I was like, I'm about to jump.
I'm going to jump out of this tree.
And there was deer in the field and everything. I was like, I don't care. We got to go.
You've expressed you don't like snakes.
I went
extremely.
I've been super happy. I seen one little bitty like grass little snake. It wasn't poisonous. I don't even know if it was a corn snake or it wasn't black. But anyways, one little snake, 2 foot long, all year long to this point.
We've seen 2 rattlesnakes on the property I hunt, the private I hunt this year, and I've in the last 4 or 5 years I've been hunting it, I've never seen a rattler on there, but seen 2 this year. So
yeah, the private I hunt, the guy texted me, said I've killed 10 rattlesnakes this week.
Ooh.
And I'm like, holy crap. And I was like, are they going toward that barn? Because I kept thinking that'd be a perfect place. He said, yep. So he's killing. I said, you need to burn the barn. Prescription burn in order. The whole 200 acres we got over there, let's burn it.
I'd let somebody else hunt there, to be honest.
Well, the bad part was it was where we parked. It wasn't where we was hunting way back in the woods. It was right where we was.
That's even worse.
So then I'm like, now when I get out, look around, like, okay, we're good.
Yeah, we see them on the gravel driveway, warming up in the evenings or in the mornings, Yeah. So
what about packs? Where are y'all running?
CRÜZR Escape.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Still love that thing. I beat the fire out of it.
As far as putting stuff in and out of your packs, do you have a system?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
It's organized in a way because I one stick, so it's the last thing that comes up.
Yep.
Then it clips into the tree, and I can start pulling camera gear stuff off. The bottom, the sides. I build my camera system. Bow comes up. After that, my hanger and everything's in the tree. So it's in a certain way, definitely something to recommend. Do that a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Because in the dark, it's not so fun if you're having to dig through every spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I have the same sort of system now. I climb with my pack on. I put the kidney belt on, but I climb with the pack on, and everything comes off in a way that, it's in order.
Yeah.
So, I can climb in the dark if I have to. There's a lot of times where if I get in there late or whatnot, because it always happens. Like you always hit snooze too many times or something.
Yeah, for sure.
But you get in there late and you're like, man, I know there's deer around me, so I'm just going to climb in the dark. And I safety myself off and with a light or whatnot, and then I turn everything off and climb. But everything's in the same spot every time. I'm meticulous about that. So
yeah, I typically climb in the dark. I've used glow in the dark paint, and I've got little markings on my platform and stuff where I can look down and see where it's at. So even if it's dark, I can see it's glowing in these little spots.
Right.
Yeah, I don't like using a light unless I have to.
Yeah, rarely use a light unless it's dark, like you can't see.
Well, I mean, I've about got to where I walk in right when it's first start getting daylight.
Yeah, well, public. So here that brings a new challenge, right? Like so. That's when I quit wearing my pack because it takes longer to climb with my pack on than pull it up last. So I just put it at the end of my rappel rope because there's a few times I got on there and I'm like, man, it took me 20 minutes and somebody else got a climber on and they've went up 50 yards away. And I'm like, well, okay, because they didn't know I was climbing because I was in the process because I shot them with a light or anything, so.
Let's talk about the one sticking. How do you feel one sticking is versus throwing up some sticks?
I don't think I'm ever going back to sticks.
I agree. I agree. 100%.
And it's not, I'm trying to be lighter than you, faster than you, anything. I'm more comfortable with that system. There is less, and as you know, you've seen me climb with it. I've got a certain way up and down the tree, and I feel it's really, really safe. Like that's going to be the way up and down the tree. In the dark, I could do it.
Yeah.
So I agree with you on that. I mean, I don't like the bulk of carrying multiple sticks either. Yeah. I'm not big on, shedding ounces and whatnot, or even pounds. I mean, it doesn't bother me to carry that stuff in the woods, but I just have a system and I'm quicker with it. I'm more comfortable with it. And to me, rappelling out of a tree is 10 times safer than climbing down sticks.
Oh, I agree. Especially in the dark.
Yeah. And how many times does the wind change? In midday, you need to go the other end,
Yeah. At that point, I mean, I'm probably just leaving my top stick and grabbing the bottom two on my way out.
Yeah.
But, I mean, one sticking is definitely something. Me and you talked about it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I mean, it almost gives you that sense of excitement, I guess, too.
Oh, yeah. Anytime you add something new, that's the same thing with filming, I feel like. It's the next hard thing to do, the challenge of it.
And, I mean, filming's a whole nother story. But
that's
everybody thinks it's cake.
Yeah, let me just put this camera arm on this tree. Okay.
You have to shoot it twice.
Yeah. Yep.
Once with a camera and once with whatever you're hunting with.
Right. Yeah.
That deer I shot last year, man, it worked out too perfect. Something had to go wrong. So when I leaned over to shoot that deer, I just barely bumped the camera. And at that point, the adrenaline was going. I set the camera and I forgot about it. I wasn't worried about it. And I forgot I had it on autofocus. And it caught just the side of the tree, and it focused on the tree, and you can see a blurry deer get shot.
I hate that.
It happens, though.
I fight this battle right now where I'm torn between shooting situations, autofocus and manual. I'm like, all right, manual on the screen might not be as clear or in focus as it is on the computer. Right, so I'm like, which one?
Right, but then in his instance, you're going to look at this leaf the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
Yep. Self-filming is a chore.
It is.
I mean,
but it's also saved me a couple times being able to go back and review footage and see exactly where I hit that deer and exactly where it ran off to.
Yeah.
Too. I mean, it has saved me a lot of headache.
Yeah.
I guess the advice I'd give there is don't let this shot deter this shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I see a lot of people worry about this shot and then they've messed up.
Yeah.
Right. So that's probably one thing I've definitely learned.
Well, I mean, a lot of the time, you know where the deer's going. So you can generally point it, but at the same time, I'm always worried, like, am I getting it?
Right, right. How wide is this pan?
Am I zoomed in too much? Am I zoomed out too much? Am I going to be able to see it? And I just think that's a battle that you just have to play with, figure out.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like anything else.
Yeah.
Without time and practice, you won't get good at it.
Yeah.
100%.
I mean, speaking of practice, y'all been shooting?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
I know Evan has.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was actually, me and him was talking about that before you come in. Doing pretty good. About 2 days ago, then I Robin Hooded my last arrows. So
Oh, man,
now
that sounds like you're doing better than you was 2 days ago.
Well, I don't have arrows now, so.
Oh, we got 2 weeks.
Well,
You know a guy.
well, yeah, true, but also like, dang, man.
I might put some controversial raps on there, but you know a guy.
Oh,
You know.
goodness. Here we go.
I'm fine with it.
You know.
But
Do you y'all take your bows and have them tuned every year for your season?
it depends. So I typically always try and do something to upgrade my setup every summer. So I'm a college student. I make my money in the summer. So whenever I can get ahead and have a couple $100 to spare, whether that's arrows or strings or which I ended up doing both this summer. But usually I do something that requires me to have to have my bow tuned anyways. So, and I try and do that as early as possible because August and September in a bow shop is
not happening.
No, not fun. So June, July, I always try and go get my bow worked on or do something to upgrade it and then start shooting from there.
Yeah.
So, which I should shoot year round, but I do a little bit, but not as consistently as I do starting in like July.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably about me. July, I really get shooting but this year I went turkey hunting with my bow. So we went back, we got some different arrows. We had a way different broadhead. So we shot it a few times,
Right.
Okay, this is shooting a little different here like this. So I have shot it most of the year this year, first time. So,
Well, I'm in a big switch this year, and I love it.
yeah.
Matthews to Hoyt, that's a big switch.
I shot Justin's Hoyt at the GON Blast. I was like, oh, man, I got to have me one.
I love
It wasn't
mine,
like 2
man.
weeks later, and I went and bought one.
Yeah.
I also went from 27 axle to axle to a 34, which is daylight and dark.
You love it? You love the longer axle?
I love it. I don't know how I love it in my saddle yet, but I love it.
I was fixing to say that's the only thing you won't like, I feel like, because that's why I ended up back at the 31, because I had the longer one at first, and then I'm like, the mobility, if I'm trying to use this saddle for mobility, it was cumbersome. There's just certain shots that it was more twist than it felt like it should have been. So.
Yeah.
I'm a big proponent of the longer axle.
Well, I mean, it doesn't help your
You're also like
I'm long and lanky, but no, I mean, just having your string angle and everything work out, and just a lot more forgiveness with that 34 axle.
I do believe that wholeheartedly.
They seem to shoot even a little smoother to me. Maybe it's just me, but I don't know. I like the short just because I'm short. So
no, I was going to buy a 31 because that seemed like it was longer than what I had.
Right. And
I haven't ever owned anything over 30. I just found a really good deal on a 34 and I couldn't pass it up.
Yeah.
But I don't know, and I know I'm wearing the wrong shirt, but I don't know if I'll ever buy the last brand I had again, to be honest with you.
Well, that's kind of how I got there. And then I'm like, this is where I'm going to stay. I really like this.
To me, I mean, it's just something about, and it could be because I went up in axle to axle size. The draw is just, it feels like you're pulling 50 pounds instead on 70.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, that's when, if anybody asks me, what I shoot versus what I recommend and whatnot, like, I can't recommend exactly what's going to feel great to you. Like, to me, I love my Bowtech. Love it. Won't shoot anything else until something beats it.
Yeah.
Won't shoot anything else.
Yeah.
But I haven't found anything that's going to beat it yet.
Yeah.
So, but what I tell people is you got to go shoot, lay hands on everything you can, and see what feels good to you. Because there's, if you stick with the major bow brands, you're not going to have
They're
big
all
issues.
so close.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of performance, you're not going to be lacking. But, in terms of draw cycle and everything, that's all personal preference.
Yeah,
no, absolutely.
It comes to preference, yeah.
The only thing I liked about Bowtech a little more than Hoyt was the tunability, for sure.
Oh, man, they're a joy to tune.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of Allen wrenches and you're moving cams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That is
simple
nice.
process.
That is so nice, especially for that person goes way out west or something, and maybe his bow got jacked up on the way.
Yeah.
But that is for sure a nice aspect of it. And
Center,
I kind of wish Hoyt would, and I know they can't, but I wish they would implement something
like that. Yeah.
And I mean, the SS Core 34 I shot too, I liked it too. I ain't saying nothing bad about none of them.
No.
But I just think you, as a person, you need to go shoot them.
Yeah.
Well, Elite kind of has the same system
Yeah.
coming out on their bows that makes it easy to tune and shim your cams. So
Yeah.
But
What all do you guys pack in the woods with you? Start to finish.
I try.
Let's talk. You leave your house, you get your tree stand. What are you taking with you?
I try and keep things really simple. The less moving parts for me, the better. So, obviously, I always take my bow or my rifle, saddle, backpack, and in my backpack, I've got. I typically wear my saddle in the woods. In my backpack, I keep my mini seeker in the platform spot that we have on the bag. I use a USA Pro platform strap, AM steel strap that has 2 distal hitches. I don't ever have to. I still tow hook my platform always, but once that AM steel stretches out and gets
You're
broken in, I'm locked in.
Yeah.
The buckle straps are great. You can get them tight if you know how to do it, and it takes some practice. Everything takes practice, but that AM Steel Pro or that USA Pro from the AM Steel guys, awesome. And then I have my one stick with a 3-step aider. I can get 22-ish feet with 3 moves or so. And then I have my bow strap, which I've used several different bow straps, and I end up back with a $1 strap from Walmart over and over again. Just keep an extra hook on it, and I hang my bow off of literally a ratchet strap hook that sits up against the tree, and then I have an S-beaner on my pack that I just clip onto the strap, and that has worked for the last 5 or 6 years, I guess. So, like I said, I just keep things simple. I don't really carry a whole lot of extra stuff. I carry my 40-foot of Canyon Elite 9mm Madrock Safeguard, Delta Link. I carry an extra lineman's belt. That way when I go around limbs, I'm always tethered off to something. It's never a good idea to be 20 foot up, go around a limb and think, I can do this real quick. Because your stick will kick out or something will happen. The wind will blow. Like, take the extra 60 seconds to tie yourself in.
Yeah.
I have a distal hitch on my lineman's rope instead of a regular Prusik. So I think that's about it. I always carry a pistol in the woods with me. And I carry that in a paddle holster that goes, under my regular belt that I have in my pants and then over the top of the saddle. And I hunt with that on. I really don't feel any pressure points on it or whatnot. I use, for the last couple of years, I've used just a Black Hawk Serpa holster that kind of distribute that weight over, 6-8 inches or so in my waistline. And that's how I carry in the woods.
I'm glad you brought the pistol thing up, because when I first started saddle hunting, I could not find a good way to pack my pistol around my waist and not have to take it out when I get in this stand. Right.
My dad found a military surplus and actually found one that clipped into his molly for his pistol. So it's on his side, and there's an actual pistol holder on his saddle now. But I do like he does. I still have my regular old holster over and under, just it works.
I've got one now that goes to the bottom of my bino harness.
Well, see, bino harness don't work out one sticking for me, because a lot of times I'll get close to that tree, and then it's really in the way of moving, and it's just, I've tried it.
I agree with you. I like the idea of a chest holster, but I get up on the tree so much one sticking that.
Same.
Yeah.
I like
and that's probably why I haven't had a problem with it yet, because
I'm
very new. But what are you packing?
Real similar to his. I got the EWO1 stick, though. I don't actually use a platform. It's built on the top. Got to bring snacks because I'm a fat kid. Little Debbie's, like, you guys don't mention that, but I know they're in there. Don't be lying.
It's almost Little Debbie season.
Hey, that's the best deer call ever made. You ever open a Little Debbie and here they come?
Yep, every time.
And there he is. Drop. And of course, Tennessee, our early season, I'll bring a thermocell.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
I try not to forget it. The filming gear and stuff, I mean, it's what it is, it's part of it. As far as a bow hanger, I've got one called a jawbone. It's real similar to the one he's talking about, but I run the molly loop system around the tree. So everything I've got's got a small beaner on it, like my rangefinder and my bino, so I just clip it to the tree. Yeah. So I can just grab it, use it, and then let it back down so it don't fall out. and cell phone tether. That's probably my
I've
number
seen
one.
those.
That's probably my number one. If somebody asks me, what's the number one little thing that nobody thinks of? Just hang my cell phone right there, and it's there, because everybody's going to get out and mess with it anyway.
Oh, yeah.
So.
I've seen an ad for the cell phone tether, and I thought, I wonder
it's
how
worth
much
it. I've
I'll
dropped
actually
mine a
use
few
that.
times, and now I'm like, yeah, I'm clipping it in every time.
Yeah.
What's y'all's most forgotten item?
Most
With you.
forgotten.
Like the one that you end up running off with the most?
Ooh. I'm gonna say probably some sort of nicotine would be pretty high on the list. There ain't no worse feeling than you getting there and you're like, oh man, I ain't gonna do it.
I mean, I carry a regular knife, but I think my actual knife that I want to gut the deer with, I think I've forgot it probably a few times.
Right.
But, I mean, I've even got a small Gerber knife down in the mollies in case something ever does go awry.
Yeah.
Which it's built to not do that in the saddle system.
Right.
But if it were, I'll be able to cut myself out,
Pocket knife can get you out of a lot of
it's
situations.
about that big, and it's real sharp, you know, so that's all it. But
I don't know if there is one item that I've forgot a lot of times, but I have forgot a bow hook, and that makes for a long sit.
oh yeah, yeah.
I'm bad about leaving my rangefinder in the truck because I'll get it out to shoot,
Yeah.
And I'll throw it in the dash of my truck or something.
I've done that.
And then, like I said before, I'm real meticulous about putting things back, but for whatever reason, my rangefinder never makes it back in my bag.
I'll tell you how to fix that.
And so, by two?
Nope. And I forgot mine one time, and it ain't that happened since. I took me a piece of, they make actually cord for it, but a piece of D-loop, and made it long enough to where I can turn all the way around anywhere I want, and tied it to my rangefinder pouch to my rangefinder.
Yep.
And as long as I have my binoculars, I have my rangefinder.
So
I can never lose it.
I don't run a rangefinder pouch. I've kind of been meaning to, but I don't. But I tied a piece of Dynaglide through mine. I have a little hole on it, and I wear it around my neck.
Yeah.
So like that rangefinder, whenever I'm in the woods, is always on me because I keep it there for one simple reason of you never, like y'all were saying, you never know when that deer is going to show up, and it always happens in an inconvenient time. So if it's buried in my bag, even if it's on top, that's a lot of extra movement that I have to do.
Yeah, that's why I like that loop system, because I can just, and if I know that something's not on my loop, it's got to be in my bag. If it's not in my bag, then I forgot it, but usually not.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
How many all day sits do you think you'll sit in a season between you?
Well, I know of one because my son got the quota hunt on opening day bow. He gets to use a rifle, and there's some good bucks we've got on camera in that whole area. So I told him we're not leaving because, I mean, it's almost 2-hour drive.
Oh, yeah.
So we're just going to stay that whole day. I told him that's his day. We're going to regular season Sunday. So guaranteed that one. But I'm going to imagine it depends on how quick we tag out,
Yeah.
So, you get to that rut, that's ideal time,
Yeah.
It depends on deer movement for me. I'm bad about it a lot of times. I'll hunt the majority of the day, but I'll take a lunch break, and run to the house and grab a sandwich or something hot to eat, especially on a cold day. Go warm up for a second and then get back out there about 2:00.
Yeah.
Which a lot of guys love to say that 11 to 2 time in the woods, especially during the rut.
Yep.
Yeah.
Big deer show up.
Banker hours is what I call it.
Yeah.
It's the banker hours, working hours.
Right.
Because that's when they work the hardest. Those deer work the hardest. Like,
That's when I killed
they're
that buck
moving.
last year. It was at I was actually getting down to go to the gym,
Yeah.
and it was at 12:45.
10 to 2. I always say that. Like, if there's nothing going on real early in the morning, there's just that 10 to 2. Let's not leave till 2, and then we'll just scratch the evening or something,
Will you do anything different as far as sitting in a saddle, preparing for an all-day sit?
Make sure I got snacks.
Yeah.
Besides
Make sure I got
snacks, yeah.
snacks and food.
Yeah.
No, not really. I mean, I rarely use the back band. I don't
Same.
find that I need it. And
That's a very popular reason I asked that question, because everybody asks that at trade shows.
Yeah.
Can you sit in this thing all day?
Yeah.
You tell them yes. I mean, because I have, you have, we all have.
right.
But like I tell them at the shows, it's all getting in the yard and practicing and making those right fine adjustments for yourself. We're all different.
Yep.
Right.
We all look the same in the tree, but we're in a different position, essentially.
Yep.
Well, what I tell people too is, when you go sit down and watch a movie, or you sit down in your favorite chair at home to watch something, or sit there for 3 hours, you never sit still, completely still. So don't expect to sit completely still in this without shifting your weight around and moving around and stretching a little bit every now and then. I mean, obviously the goal is to try and stay still as possible, but the human body's not built like that.
Right. But also, if you know how to make these adjustments, that's why we show them at the show. It's easy to get back to comfort and whichever way they need it. Right.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, my number one move, if I'm feeling fidgety, is just from in the sitting position to the standing position. And that's a very soft movement.
Yeah.
Right.
My long day move, I like to just straddle the tree.
Yeah.
Just hang there. You know, just kind of I'm not really hunting. I'm just hanging out. I'm resting in my head, right?
Yeah.
So,
I think that, the only thing I'll do different on an all-day set is break out the knee pad maybe.
Yeah.
And then the back band, of course. And then I think I'm going to add another back band. I think
your
I'm going to
thighs?
do the thigh thing.
Yeah.
Because I sit in at the trade show
I was
forever.
like, do this. Oh.
And it's just like, at that point, you're in a recliner.
Yeah.
Which, to me, with a back band and a saddle, it feels like that anyways, no matter how you do it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I feel like that'd work for rifle hunting, but bow hunting, I'd get a little too tied up.
Well,
too many.
As soon as you stand up, it'll drop.
Yeah. That's
a reason that I ain't just a huge fan of the back band during bow season, especially because I've caught myself having it too tight before.
Right.
And then I had to lean way up just to get it to fall down, but it's still kind of in my way. So I try to keep it just tight enough to where it catches, but loose enough where it falls.
And that's one of those things that it just goes back to your experience and your practice.
Sitting in the tree.
What works for you.
I think I probably set, probably close to 150 hours last year in a saddle.
Yeah, it's quite a bit.
I had a bunch all day sits. A lot.
If I'm breaking out the back band, I'm more than likely about to take a nap. That's how little I use it. I'm probably about to take a nap to feel stable. Just so whenever I do the jerk or the jolt, I'm like, oh, we're good. I didn't fall.
Yeah.
Y'all going out of state anywhere this season or anything?
I doubt it for deer.
Yeah.
I think turkeys is on the list this year, though. Go kill more than 2 birds this year.
Yeah.
So,
Still doing better than me. I killed a big goose egg.
But you tried. I gave you a broadhead.
Yeah, but I didn't have I had no opportunities with that broadhead on.
I know. I wish you had them. They're nasty.
The one I shot with what I thought was a mega meat. Turns out, when I drew my bow back, I thought, that's just a dead meat. So it's a little smaller. I smoked him, too. 10-pinned him at 10 yards. Couldn't find it.
That sucks.
One of them city birds.
I'd rather miss them than do that, not find them.
Oh, yeah.
I'd just rather completely miss.
Well, I'm glad you said that, too, because that brings up another good preseason thing. It's hot. Really hot.
Yeah.
This time of the year, it's warm.
Especially
You shoot a deer, what's your first move as far as keep taking care of it?
So I guess this is where our filming helps.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go back and see, if I can't physically see what happened, I'm going to study this shot and see how quick or how later I need to get down, I guess.
Yeah.
yeah.
Especially if it's 80 degrees.
Yeah.
During the velvet hunt, I parked my truck a little closer. I had some, dry ice. I had some stuff ready.
Yeah.
Just in case it did happen, And I thought, once it hits 80 degrees, I'm getting down.
Yeah.
So that was my rule. It wasn't if I seen deer. 80 degrees, I left. There's no way I'm getting it out fast enough to save it, so.
You would literally have to have ice waiting there for you as soon as it died.
Yeah.
And it might still be okay, but it ain't worth it at that point.
And the place I was hunting was straight up and down. So it would not be worth it,
So as soon as you get to it right now, just gut it out as fast as you can.
Mm-hmm.
And then get it cold as fast as you can.
And doing your best to make a good shot on it.
Yeah.
And keeping that diaphragm intact and the guts intact.
Yeah.
Keeping everything above the diaphragm when you shoot, which is easier said than done because, you get a 1/4 inch away shot. Sometimes you have to stick it through the liver before you can get it into the lungs. But, no, that's definitely getting it dressed as fast as possible.
Yeah. Are y'all shooting for heart shots or me, myself, I'm more of a lung guy. I'll send one through the lungs.
It's super controversial for a lot of people, but I've aimed at the same spot since I was a kid, 30 some odd years.
Mm-hmm.
Still aiming at the white where the brown meets, you know,
I am
because they're going to duck.
I am scared to death of the no zone.
The
Bermuda Triangle
yeah,
there.
yeah. But a lot of people think there's an actual scapula there, but the deer's actual shoulder is shaped this way.
Yeah.
So there's a big opening here
Yeah.
in their shoulder. And a lot of people don't realize that. They think it's a whole big plate. It's not, you know, so I think that's a little anatomy there.
Yeah.
My saying is aim for the heart, settle for the lungs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I got screwed last season by going, okay, you know, this deer's at 10 yards. I'm really high up in this tree. I'm going to aim a little higher because of my steep angle.
Right.
And did exactly that. Hit him in no man's land is what I call it. And deer just took an FMJ arrow with a Schwacker like it was nothing.
Right through the meat.
Ran off, and I tracked that deer for 400 yards through a neighborhood and never caught up to her. And I got pictures of her within a week with just, you know, a little scar right there. And
whoops.
Yeah. I mean, I've done that a couple times. Just hit them high, and which technically a deer's spine is a lot lower than people think.
Yeah, that's pretty good down there.
But yeah, I learned my lesson on aim for the heart, settle for the lungs.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, and I mean, you got to remember too, like, and I think a lot of people's forgetting because their crossbows so fast, the ones that use them, that they're like, well, it'll hit them before they duck. No, it won't. They're louder than our bows. Like, as soon as it snaps, I mean, I've seen them duck about a foot out. I mean, really far down. I've seen some touch the ground and duck. Like, so.
Yeah.
Every deer's different. I mean, that goes back to practice as well. You just got to be comfortable. The thing that I say is aim small, miss small.
Yeah. Well, these southeastern deer are small and quick.
Yeah, they are for sure.
You know, even a big deer, a big buck, is quick on his feet.
Yeah.
So, and they're pretty skittish. They hear something they're not used to, they're going to be ducking.
I watched a video the other day, and there was a doe. I mean, she was broadside. She was quartering away just maybe a little bit, but it was like a slow-mo follow the arrow video.
Yeah.
He aimed like right at the heart, and the arrow ended up going in behind the lungs because she ducked and turned so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did see that same video. And then it showed a few. He would circle where he was aiming, and then they'd move, and it's like proving that you need to aim down here.
What's y'all's max distance you shoot a deer at?
Mine just changed, actually.
He said, new bow, new problems.
Yeah. So, I mean, as of right, I mean, I don't really have anywhere at my house I can shoot past 60, which you know.
Right.
So as of right now, I'm smoking one at 60.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I don't know. I feel confident shooting my bow out to 60 yards and 70 and 80 yards, but for me, I don't like shooting a deer past about 35. And I will in very certain situations, but that deer's got to be really comfortable for me to think about doing that because of exactly what we were talking about. That's
a
move.
real big duck at that range.
They have so much time to move. I don't care how fast your bow is. Yeah. That's a lot of time to move.
Yeah. Maybe 40 in an open field for me. But I want to be 30 or closer if I'm in the woods because we know.
Yeah, ideally,
You know, it's this. So,
I mean,
do I think it'll kill him at 60?
Every situation
Absolutely.
is different, probably, for me. I mean, a shooter buck's not going to walk by me at 60, and I'm just going to look at him for sure. I might let a doe meander on by, thinking she might get closer, but if he is not entertaining coming any closer, 60 and I mean, I haven't shot past 60, so maybe 70. I don't know. But
he said I need to find out. I've got a
when I'm fresh and comfortable, I can stack arrows at 60. But just like you seen the other day after I went on an 8-mile run, I was all over the board.
Yeah.
So every situation is going to be different, I think. Maybe if it's if I've sat there for a while, I've got plenty of time to chill out, or the deer's been out in that's really the thing.
Yeah.
How long have I been watching this deer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it goes back to what we've been hammering on is knowing your setup, knowing yourself, and practicing. So knowing when you're tired, knowing when you're shaky, and can I make this shot?
Rangefinder handy.
Yep.
And everything in their setup.
Sighting your bow in with your rangefinder.
Yes.
Because Andrew and I found out the other day that there's a 2-yard difference between his rangefinder and mine, which 30 and in doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But you get out to 60, and that 2 yards may be the difference between killing a deer or not.
Yeah.
Or tracking a deer all night long.
Right.
And I couldn't tell you, well, I know of twice this year I've been with Chad and Hunter, and I'm like, don't worry about ranging it. I'll range it for you. Looking back, if they'd missed, I mean, that'd been on you. That'd been on me.
It's on you, yeah.
And I wouldn't have ever thought nothing different, but that's definitely something to pay attention to.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like it's because some rangefinders account for that slope and stuff. Some don't. Some people don't realize there's a mode in it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think that.
And that's probably, mine's older. I've had it for a while. Yeah. And that's probably why mine reads different.
Mine does calculate for any
and mine
slope.
don't.
See, mine does too. And then I'm looking like, that don't look like 30 yards. But put the pin on 30. Boom. And it's like, again, from a tree in a saddle, it looks different. That don't look like 30. That looks like a way different number.
Yeah. As far as maybe taking somebody or introducing somebody into the outdoors this year that maybe has never seen the outdoors before, how would you go about doing that? Say somebody that you know wanted to go hunting.
Oh, I'm going to. I actually have a couple lined up. I usually try to.
Yeah.
Just one person, whether it's if they want a doe or whatever.
Yeah.
So a lot of times if I know cell camera's got a bunch of does, I'm like, they just want meat,
Yeah.
Usually give them a crossbow, let them try that. We're not trying to track them, 300 yards, right? Pretty accurate. Set them in a good buddy stand, explain the lifeline. Pretty simple setup, make it easy for them. But also let them understand it's not always going to be that easy, for sure.
No, I mean, I think that's where a lot of parents, and I can talk about this now because I am a parent, but I think a lot of parents go wrong is letting their child shoot that monster at a very young age and not realizing like, hey, it's not always easy. You will have to hunt. You will have to track.
Right.
And
didn't realize somebody did the work for him already.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The work begins after you pull the trigger.
Oh, absolutely.
That's
my son at 14, he's drugged 2 now and he's still not killed a buck.
Yeah.
I made him let one walk past last year, which I got a little hate on YouTube for it, but I really don't care.
Yep.
Like I was like, I'm teaching this kid patience right now. I need him to understand this is private. That buck will be here next year. I promise you. So, but we've got a bunch on camera for public this year, so maybe he gets a buck. We'll see.
And that's something that I feel like in today's time, and this is a whole nother podcast episode, but in today's time, we don't advocate for conservation near as much as we do killing. Everybody wants to kill Boone and Crockett's. And don't get me wrong, that'll come. I've never killed a Boone and Crockett. I've never killed a Pope and Young.
But it'll happen.
I know if you put in the time and the effort, it's bound to happen. Yeah. And I think a lot of people that are new to hunting don't understand that.
Well, I think a lot of people that are new to hunting also, though, look at YouTube and go, man, this is the only deer I can shoot without getting hate. You know?
Yeah.
Shoot what makes you happy.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, they look at YouTube, too, and see these people killing these absolute giants, but nobody told them it was a farm or they paid $10,000 to trespass this guy's farm. Or, you know what I mean? I think they're getting, which that's in every aspect, not just hunting. That's everything on social media. But
yeah, you're seeing the highlights, the best of the best. And it's, having realistic expectations. And, I think there's a statistic out there, and I don't remember where it's from, and I honestly don't know the validity of it, but I've heard that like less than 20% of people that bow hunt will kill a 120-inch deer or better, by themselves. And if you do it consistently from year to year, you're doing something, especially in the Southeast.
Oh, yeah.
I don't bow hunt because social media or anything like that. I bow hunt because it is so much harder. I get so much more tore up. I mean, you're there, you're close, you got to worry about so much more stuff. It's so much more challenging. And I think that if you kill a deer, you have just beat it at its own game with a bow. Yeah. Anybody can pull the trigger with a gun.
Anybody can shoot a deer at 250 yards.
Not everybody can shoot a deer at 15 yards with a bow.
100% agree.
It's a chess match that is a lot harder. And that's why I love bow hunting.
Yeah, the challenge is what brings us back.
Yeah,
that's absolutely how you know if somebody really wants to hunt or they just want to go and I guess kill,
Yeah.
No, it's fun, and I'm excited for the season. Really,
I am too.
I'm pumped.
Well,
ready to go lay
you
down
have some on camera though? We didn't talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that after.
Okay.
But
okay.
I got a
All right.
little. We got some listeners that might know where to hunt. Well, I'll say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll talk about that, and I might have had one show up.
Okay. Well, I'm all right with it.
But
I'm ready to go lay down some does.
hey, 3 a day.
Oh man, somebody the
got
other
'em.
day got on there and said, you can't shoot 3 a day. I'm like, yeah, you can.
Legally, you can.
Well, he was so mad at me. He's like, how many does? It's like 300 and something if you add them up. No, you can't. I'm like, it's basic math, I guess. I don't know what to tell you, but he was like cussing me out. I was like, I'm not entertaining it.
Legally, you can shoot 3 does a day in our unit here in Tennessee.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's a great idea
Oh,
to shoot
no.
3 does a day for every day.
I don't think it's a good idea at all, honestly. Like if you really need that food, do it. But
Do y'all ever donate deer to Hunters for the Hungry?
I have, yeah.
I try and kill 2 or 3 deer a year because I don't need more than 2 or 3 a year, or else it's just gonna sit in the freezer and get freezer burnt.
I've got a couple of veterans at the office that will come in and they'll ask, and I'll just give it to them.
Right.
I'm like, I got you. I'll have one of my kids go out and maybe we'll try to get one for you.
Right.
So.
We're actually gonna have Matt from Hunters of the Hungry on.
Are we?
Yeah, he'll be here next week.
Awesome.
So we'll definitely take a deep dive into what that goes into. But
Fantastic.
well, guys, I sure do appreciate you coming on today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, for everybody listening, share us your hunting story. We want to hear it. Shoot us over an email or comment under this video. My email is andrew@cruizersaddles.com. Share us your hunting story, and we're going to do a live on-air listen. Who knows? Maybe the best hunting story might win something.
Yeah, there we
I
go.
appreciate y'all tuning in today. We'll see you on the next one.